With the wedding imminent, my fiancé became incredibly excited, full of inexhaustible energy every night. Before bed, I heard him on the balcony, taking a call. "Liam, I need you to keep handling Grace for me. Ashley is due any day now, and I really can't leave her. Make sure you act convincingly, don't get found out. We'll switch back right before the wedding. Oh, and try on the wedding attire for me tomorrow, too. Remember to pick white." A moment later, a faint okay echoed from the balcony. I smiled to myself. I knew who he was talking to. It was Marcus, my actual fiancé by strategic family alliance. When came back to the room, I had just finished changing into my pajamas and was adjusting my straps. He wrapped his arms around my waist from behind. "Wifey." He certainly said it easily. I playfully tapped his forehead. "Who's your wife? We're not even married yet, and you're already calling me that. I'm not accepting that." He just smiled, not replying, but nuzzled his head into my shoulder. Liam had the same perfect face as his brother, but he was clingier and had more tricks up his sleeve. Simply put, he knew how to charm, and he was good in bed. Honestly, compared to Marcus, I actually preferred his twin brother. So, I was thoroughly enjoying this little game of switcheroo. I turned in Liam's arms, draped my arms around his shoulders, and exhaled softly. "Who were you just on the phone with? Hiding from me, huh? What, got a secret lover?" Liam chuckled, kissing the corner of my mouth. "Can't tell you, it's a secret." He lifted me in one swift motion and knelt on the bed with one knee. After a night of passion, I was utterly spent, too tired to even lift a fingertip. Liam, as always, made sure I was well satisfied. Light filtered through the gap in the privacy curtains, falling warmly on my face. Liam embraced me from behind and showered me with tender kisses. "Gracie, good morning." New day, aren't you going to kiss me?" See? The clinginess was back. But I quite enjoyed it. Smiling, I rolled over, tugged on his tie, tilted my head slightly, and kissed him for a full 2 minutes. "All right, is that enough of a reward? I'm dead tired. I don't have your endless energy. Let me sleep a bit more, I still have to try on gowns later." Liam licked his lips, muttered a low okay, and simply held me, saying nothing more. I slept in for the rest of the morning, and by the time I was fully awake, it was time for my gown fitting. My assistants wheeled in the gown racks, one by one. Each rack held designer wedding gowns. Another row featured various tuxedos, custom-made over 3 months. These tuxedos, actually, had been measured for Marcus. But they were twins, so Marcus's size would surely fit Liam too. I stretched languidly and got up to try on wedding gowns. With each gown I tried, Liam's eyes sparkled a little more. When I put on the third sheer gown, he stood up and came to my side, his gaze fixed on me, his voice hoarse. "Gracie, you're truly beautiful." Whether I was beautiful or not, I certainly knew. I smiled demurely. "Like this one?" I quite like it too. You should go try on your tuxedos and see how they look together." Liam leaned down and gave me a quick kiss. "You pick for me." "Sure." I walked over to the row of tuxedos, my fingers gliding across them, and picked out a white one and a black one. "Try on both of these." Liam's eyes crinkled with a smile as he took them. While he was changing, the phone on the sofa vibrated, and several messages popped up on the screen. "Liam, have you started trying on the gowns yet? Remember to pick white, and you can choose the tie yourself. When you change, make sure to cover your tattoo. Don't let Grace see it. Don't want her getting suspicious. I raised an eyebrow. Marcus, as the older brother, was certainly busy. His mistress was about to give birth, yet he hadn't forgotten to remind Liam to pick out the gown. I only glanced at it twice, then calmly looked away. Liam tried on both tuxedos and asked for my opinion. I strolled over to him, circled him twice, and personally tied a tie around his neck. "The black one will do, it suits you." Liam clasped my hand tightly, pulled me into his embrace, and said with extreme affection, "All right, if Gracie likes it, we'll go with this one." After trying on the wedding attire, Liam went back to the office for work. This was my apartment, and Marcus didn't come here often. Though, he treated it like our marital home, coming almost every day, saying he missed me. I teased, "Once we're married, won't we see each other every day anyway?" He hummed, "Later is later. I want to see you every day now." I didn't mind, after all, I wasn't the one doing all the work. I rested for a while, fully recharging my energy, made myself a cup of black tea, and strolled into the home office. I nestled into the swivel chair in the home office, crossed my legs, swinging one foot, and propped my head on my hand, enjoying the chat interface on the computer in front of me. Earlier, when Marcus had come to my place, he'd used my home office for an urgent office meeting. Out of habit, he hadn't logged out of his personal WhatsApp account after the meeting. Liam, naturally, never went into the home office, almost always heading straight for the bedroom to find me upon returning. So neither of them knew I had a way to see their chat history. Marcus, have you picked out the wedding attire yet? Liam, yeah. Marcus, how's the act going lately? Is getting suspicious? Liam, no, it's all going smoothly. She hasn't found out. I hummed a little tune, slowly scrolling down with the mouse. Thanks for your trouble, Liam. Just hold on a little longer. There are only 3 months left until the wedding. Ashley's heavily pregnant right now, and her emotions are unstable, so I really can't leave her side. It's fine, no problem. Oh, and Grace's birthday is next month. I ordered her a set of jewelry. If you Ave time, come pick it up from me. No need, I've already prepared something. You prepared something? When? Not long ago. If I'm going to play the part fully and impersonate you, I naturally need to know everything about Grace. You're always so thorough. I trust you with this. I involuntarily chuckled. It seemed that among the three of us, Marcus was the most foolish one. He didn't even know what his brother was truly planning. I took a sip of black tea and continued reading. Liam, if you like Ashley so much, why don't you just call off the engagement with Grace and marry her? Marcus, how could I possibly call off the engagement? I'm just fooling around outside. My heart is still with Grace. I still love her the most. After gives birth, I'll send them abroad, making sure Grace never finds out. I don't want any complications before the wedding, so you need to play your part well. And thanks for covering for me at the office. Once this period is over, we'll switch back. Liam didn't reply again, and the chat history ended there. I uncrossed my legs and crossed the other, stretched my neck, then leaned back in the chair and finished my black tea. Suddenly, the computer screen displayed, WhatsApp account logged in elsewhere. I narrowed my eyes. It seemed Marcus had finally remembered his personal WhatsApp account was still logged in on my home computer. TSK. One less place to enjoy the show. That evening, Liam came home much earlier than usual. He didn't come to kiss me first, as he usually did, but went straight to the home office. I was drying my freshly washed hair, leaning against the doorframe. What's wrong? Working overtime tonight? Liam looked at the computer, which had automatically gone to sleep, paused for a moment in thought, then smiled nonchalantly. It's nothing, just looking for something. He took off his tuxedo jacket, draping it over the chair back, and walked towards me with those long legs I so admired. Gracie, have you used the home office recently? I tossed my still damp hair aside. No, I haven't. You know my home office is always just for show. Liam didn't respond. I feigned curiosity, eyeing him up and down, then let out a laugh, hooked my fingertip around his belt, and pulled him closer. My fingertips played a game, slowly tracing from his chest down to his abdomen. What? Do you think I have something incriminating on my computer? Are you suspecting I'm seeing other men, or did you tamper with the computer? Liam's eyes suddenly darkened. I leaned in close to his Adam's apple and gave it a playful, teasing bite. Tell me. A soft chuckle escaped him. Liam cupped my back with one hand, pressing me against the wall. Gracie, what nonsense are you talking about? How could I suspect you? Is there any other man in this world better than me? I love you, I'd give you my life. I tilted my head and smiled, then leaned in to kiss him. What followed was the same as what we did every night. When the passion was at its peak, I deliberately called out, Marcus. Sure enough, his strength increased even more. Still so easily provoked. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Liam nipped my ear. Baby, don't call me by my name anymore. I asked, feigning ignorance. Why? He kissed me. I prefer to hear you call me husband or darling. Actually, on the very first day the brothers swapped places, I recognized that the man standing before me wasn't my fiancé. Because the emotion in Liam's eyes was too direct, like a wolf that had been hungry for a long time. After a brief thought, I pretty much understood what was going on. After all, before this, Marcus's behavior had been particularly suspicious. He was often called away by a phone call during dates, claiming an urgent issue with a project required him to rush back to the office. I didn't mind it at all. For people like us, love or marriage was merely a facade. A strategic family alliance was simply a matter of mutual benefit. Besides, I was very fond of Marcus's face, so I agreed to the marriage without hesitation. In this circle, whether married or single, no man didn't have a few women on the side. Similarly, there wasn't a woman in this circle who didn't keep a few men themselves. But I was quite picky. So far, I hadn't found anyone better looking than Marcus. When arrived, honestly, my eyes lit up. This man had the same captivating face as Marcus, but his aura seemed wilder. I just wondered how good he was in bed. This game also piqued my interest. I was very willing to play along with them. Sure enough, Liam didn't disappoint me. That night, my soul floated on clouds, never quite touching solid ground. A sweat-soaked Liam held me, his fingertips tangled in my hair, as he whispered, nipping my ear. "Gracie, I'm so happy. I finally have you." I lifted my eyelids, and with my fingertips, brushed his damp hair from his forehead, revealing his sparkling eyes. My long nails slowly caressed from his brow to the corner of his mouth as I smiled affectionately. "That's not necessarily true. We're not married yet, so be careful I don't run off." There was a fire burning in Liam's eyes, but I couldn't tell what kind of fire. He didn't reply, just held me tighter. From that day on, this game of switcheroo officially began. According to Marcus's plan, in 2 months, after Ashley gave birth and before the wedding, the two of them were supposed to subtly switch back. But things didn't go as smoothly as he thought. Today was the 70th birthday of the current head of the Fu family, Grandpa. At such an important occasion, both grandsons naturally had to be present. But even under these circumstances, they still hadn't switched back. I wondered who was refusing to switch. I didn't care, not switching made it even more exciting. What was even more stimulating was that I actually saw a heavily pregnant Ashley at the banquet. Marcus had exceptional nerve, daring to openly bring her to the banquet. She was just like the photos my aunt sent me, pale-skinned, with long hair. Pregnancy hadn't distorted her figure too much, and even from behind, she could captivate any man. How interesting. I tucked a curl behind my ear, walked over in my heels, and politely spoke. "You're a new face, I haven't seen you before." "Hello, I'm Grace." Ashley turned around, startled, and the pastry in her hand clattered to the floor. I ignored her composure loss and extended my hand in a friendly gesture. She eyed me suspiciously, and then, as if something occurred to her, she smiled brightly, her head held a little higher, and returned my handshake. "Hello, I'm Ashley, and my husband's surname is Fu." I feigned just the right amount of surprise. What a coincidence. My fiancé's surname is Fu too. We must be fated. How about we, Ashley? A man swiftly walked over, steadily taking her arm, and whispered, "Didn't I tell you to stay put?" I turned my back for 1 second and you vanished. Do you know how worried I was? You're pregnant. What if someone bumps into you? Ashley stuck out her tongue. "I'm sorry, I was just a little hungry. I just came over for some cake. Please don't be angry. I promise I won't wander off again." The man sighed in relief and looked up. The moment his eyes met mine, he froze. I caught the flicker of awkwardness on his face. I feigned slight surprise, my lips parting. I'm Gracie." I turned at the sound, and Liam, in a sharp suit, came to my side from the other direction, putting his arm firmly around my waist. I showed a knowing expression and looked at Marcus. "You two brothers really are alike. I almost couldn't tell you apart just now. So is Liam's girlfriend?" No wonder she said her husband's surname was Fu. "Congratulations, Liam. You're going to be a dad. But really, with such a beautiful girlfriend, why didn't you bring her to meet us sooner? Don't you agree, darling?" I demurely linked my arm through the man's next to me, pressing my chest against him. As I spoke, Marcus's gaze remained fixed on where Liam and I stood close together, his brow slightly furrowed. He didn't speak for a long moment. I tilted my head up at Liam. "Why isn't your brother talking to me?" Liam chuckled, stepped forward, and, affecting his brother's demeanor, said, "Grace is talking to you. Why aren't you replying?" Marcus's face darkened. He finally nodded at me and reluctantly called out, "Sister-in-law." I had to admit, it was truly amusing. My actual fiancé, in front of Liam, was calling me sister-in-law with a green face. This scene should be recorded. It was worth replaying 20 times. I smiled sweetly. "All right, we know you two lovebirds are all cozy. We won't disturb you anymore. We'll catch up later if there's a chance." I leaned fully against Liam and turned to him, pouting playfully. "Darling, shall we go dance over there? It's been a while since we danced. I really miss it." Liam lightly flicked my nose. "All right, I'll do whatever you want." Marcus's face visibly darkened, but no one noticed, except for Ashley. Liam, right in front of Marcus, openly embraced me and led me through the crowd onto the dance floor. Liam was excellent at ballroom dancing. I wasn't bad either, so the two of us were a perfectly matched pair for the dance. But with every turn, I could catch a glimpse of Marcus's expression, like a cuckolded husband. The corner of my mouth couldn't help but turn up a little more. When the dance ended, the area erupted in enthusiastic applause. Mr. Fu and Ms. Grace have such a wonderful relationship. A perfect match, truly made for each other. Exactly. They're so affectionate even before marriage. Once they tie the knot, Mr. Fu will surely spoil his wife rotten. If only my husband were half as devoted as Mr. Fu. Seizing the moment of public praise, I stood on my tiptoes and leaned in, pressing a kiss onto Liam's lips for everyone to see. Liam immediately wrapped his arm around my waist, deepening the kiss with full possession. Every one around us applauded, except for Marcus. His shoulders were rigid, and his face was utterly dark. As we left the dance floor, I held Liam's hand and met Marcus's gloomy gaze. Oh dear. He seemed angry. Ashley stood nearby, calling out to Marcus several times, but he didn't respond. In excellent spirits, I exchanged a glance with Liam, ignored Marcus's glare, and turned to head for the restroom. I touched up my makeup in the mirror. Everyone who entered the restroom smiled and greeted me. Because the Fu family held such a high position, and Grace's family estate's reputation was also strong. So I was always an object of admiration. After drying my hands, I left the restroom and found the two brothers in a corner. Marcus's voice was low. Liam, I only asked you to handle Grace for me, not to actually be her boyfriend. Ultimately, she'll still be Grace to you. Even if it's an act, you still need to be mindful of boundaries. Liam leaned against the wall, a hint of nonchalance gracing his identical face. I know, but in this kind of setting, you have to keep up appearances. If kisses me, I can't exactly dodge her, can I? Did you want her to get suspicious? Marcus frowned. Not exactly. Is usually this forward with you? You haven't touched her, have you? Liam let out a tisk. No. No? Who was the one acting like a starved wolf every single night? I can't be bothered discussing this. If you're not happy, then let's just switch back right now. As for Ashley, you can go explain it to her yourself. At the mention of Ashley, Marcus's expression faltered. After a moment of hesitation, his face softened. Don't mind me, I was just being sensitive. I still need time to handle things with Ashley. At the very least, I need to wait until the baby is born. As for Grace, you'll have to help me keep it secret for a few more months. We'll switch back before the wedding. Seeing that they were almost finished talking, I flagged down a waiter, took a not too strong drink, downed I. Tea in one go, then unsteadily walked towards the two men. Marcus, at my call, it was naturally Marcus who instinctively turned around. But right in front of him, I walked straight into Liam's embrace. I wrapped my arms around Liam's neck and nuzzled my head affectionately into his shoulder. Darling, I think I'm drunk. I want to go home. Can we go home, please? The sweetness in my voice made my own skin crawl a little. Marcus stepped to my side, frowning as he tried to support me. You're drunk? I'll have someone prepare a hangover remedy. But unceremoniously blocked his attempt. No need, I'll prepare the hangover remedy. Grace is drunk. I'll take her home now. Please inform Grandpa for me. Liam stroked the top of my head, scooped me up by the knees, carried me horizontally in his arms, and brushed past Marcus. I relaxed my head on his shoulder. I lifted my eyelids and saw Marcus's livid face and the throbbing veins on his temples. It wasn't until we were out of the banquet hall doors that his gloomy stare was finally out of sight. For the next month, I still slept when I wanted to. And I slept with whom I wanted to, too. Wedding preparations were also proceeding in an orderly fashion. It was just that Liam's calls had noticeably increased, and his phone vibrated constantly at night. If I hadn't known who he was talking to, I might have actually thought he was keeping other women. After another intense encounter, Liam, as usual, went to the bathroom to shower. The phone on the bedside table vibrated twice again. Curious about what Marcus had sent him, I picked up the phone. Looking at the unlocked screen, I paused for a moment and entered my birthday. The chat window immediately popped up. Liam, Ashley has already transferred to the specialized maternity clinic. She has dedicated care now, so we'll switch back tomorrow. She had a premature birth, so her body must not be in good shape right now. No rush, you should take care of her for a few more days. No EED, I'll come find Grace tomorrow. You go back to your own place. You've already taken care of Ashley for 4 months during her pregnancy. What's a few more days during her postpartum recovery period? You don't want to switch? I'm just thinking of you too. The chat history paused for a long time there, then came Marcus's most recent messages. Liam, I'm warning you, don't covet what isn't yours. You need to understand, you're just acting. You're not Grace's boyfriend, I am. Tomorrow, we'll each go back to our rightful places. I narrowed my eyes. You want us each to go back to our rightful places? It won't be that easy. The sound of the shower stopped, and I put the phone back in its place. Liam, carrying the scent of steam, got into bed, held me close, and kissed me. I complained, feigning annoyance. Your phone keeps ringing. Who keeps calling you every day? Which good sister is it? Liam pulled the blanket over both our waists. No one important. Just a spam call, ignore it. Let's sleep. A scammer? I chuckled softly. He wasn't entirely wrong. 2 scammers. No, add me to that. 3 scammers. The next day, Liam, as usual, went to the office. I curled up on the sofa, reading the song's financial reports. Not long after, the front door suddenly opened. I thought Liam had returned, but when I looked up, I realized it was my real fiancé, Marcus, who had walked in. He very naturally took off his jacket, a smile on his face. Gracie, I'm home. I stood up, watched him silently for a few moments, then burst out laughing. Liam, why are you still playing games with me? Did you come specifically to test if I could tell you and Marcus apart? You really underestimate me then. What are you doing at my place? Looking for your brother, Marcus? He went to the office, he just left. Marcus's expression instantly froze. After a long moment, he pointed a finger at himself. You think I'm Liam? Well, who else? Do you think I can't even recognize my own fiancé? IF. Finished with a smile, enjoying his increasingly green face. You. Why do you think I'm Liam? Because, dressed in my silk pajamas, I slowly walked towards him. My fingertips slid from his shoulder, slowly down to the side of his neck. Here, you don't have the marks I bit there last night. Marcus's pupils constricted instantly. You too. His angry words were interrupted by the urgent ringing of his phone. He glanced at it once, then hung up. But a second call quickly came through, its relentless persistence like a death knell. I crossed my arms and stepped back 2 paces, gesturing towards his phone with my eyes. Go on, answer it. I heard Marcus say your girlfriend already gave birth. Might be something urgent. Marcus choked, but ultimately answered the phone, his face grim. No need to guess, it was Ashley calling. The baby keeps crying? Then feed it. What good is it asking me? If it's not hungry, give it to the maternity clinic nurse. What did I pay all that money for? You just have to go to the hospital right now? Alright, I get it. I'll be right there, stop rushing me. See? This is the inherent weakness of men. At the banquet, he treated Ashley like she was precious, but as soon as the baby was born, he immediately adopted this horrible attitude. Was no longer satisfying him, or had he suddenly remembered the benefits of having me as his fiancé? He hung up the phone impatiently and looked as if he wanted to say something to me. I spoke first, my face stern, lecturing him. Newborns have a lot of issues, it's true. If there's any discomfort, you absolutely must see a doctor. Don't delay important matters. Go quickly. It sounds quite urgent. I haven't even changed yet, so I won't see you out. I turned and leaned back onto the sofa, acting as if I was ready to see him go. Marcus stood there for a moment, saw that I wasn't responding to him, and when his phone rang again, he picked up his clothes and left. The sound of the door closing, however, write a definite note of reluctance. I crossed one leg and swayed it. Marcus had just arrived and was already called away. It was definitely Liam's doing. It seemed this game was nearing its climax. That evening, it was Liam who came home. He was even more passionate than usual. As soon as he walked in, he lifted me and pressed me against the door, demanding a fierce kiss. I slowly and calmly unbuckled his belt. Missing me this much today, He kept me pinned. I miss you this much every day. I was very cooperative, my hands igniting sparks all over his body. Oh, right. Your brother, Marcus, came over today. He came in and called me Gracie. So intimate, it startled me. Liam paused for a moment, then tightened his grip around my waist. You didn't mistake him? Of course not, I said, nipping his ear. The man I sleep with every single night? How could I mistake him? The grip on my waist tightened surprisingly. That's right, baby. He nuzzled his lips against mine. You need to know, the person you sleep with every day is me. With that, Liam lifted me with one arm and took a few steps towards the sofa. 2 hours later, I picked up the clothes tossed in the corner and put them back on, then got up to pour some water. Liam also put on his pants, came up behind me and hugged me, holding me in a death grip. Gracie, you're mine. You're not anyone else's, you're mine. You can only marry me. He was really getting into character. Alright, Alright, I get it. I patted his hand, signaling him to let go, when the front door suddenly swung open. Marcus paused at the doorway, his eyes locking with ours. Liam reacted first, stepping in front of me. The next moment, he was knocked to the ground by a single punch. Marcus's eyes were bloodshot with rage, his fists raining down blow after blow, each one delivered with full force. Liam, Grace is my woman, damn it. The situation quickly devolved into a full-blown brawl. I stood by, occasionally yelling, "Stop fighting!" Then spinning around and saying, "Cut it out." Once the tide turned, and Marcus was pinned to the ground, unable to move, I feigned concern and stepped in to pull Liam away. "What are you doing? Why are you two brothers fighting for no reason? Especially you," I said, glaring at Marcus. "Running into my home late at night and attacking without a word. What exactly do you want?" Veins bulged on the back of Marcus's hands. "Grace, I'm Marcus. I'm your damn boyfriend. I'm your fiancé." I adopted an expression of complete disbelief. "What are you talking about? Didn't you just take your baby to the hospital earlier today? Isn't Ashley your girlfriend?" There's a limit to joking around. This kind of disturbance is genuinely interrupting our rest. Marcus was highly agitated. "Interrupting? I'm interrupting your rest? It looks like I interrupted you two in bed." I furrowed my brow and my voice turned cold. "Enough. Marcus and I are about to get married. Even if we were in bed, what business is it of yours?" Liam, standing nearby, raised an eyebrow and remained silent. "Married?" Marcus repeated, with an exaggerated tone. "Grace, open your eyes and see who he really is." He grabbed Liam's arm and thrust it towards me. "Liam and I look alike. Even William sometimes can't tell us apart. But you know I've never had a tattoo. Liam has one. He has a flower tattooed on his arm." My gaze flickered upwards. "Where?" he declared confidently. "You haven't noticed because he covers it with foundation makeup. Look if you don't believe me." Marcus began rubbing Liam's arm. But even after rubbing the arm red, no tattoo was visible. "How could this be? Did you get it removed?" Marcus looked at Liam in disbelief. I sneered. "Alright, enough with the dramatics. It's getting late, I won't keep you." Liam pulled his arm free, stepped to my side, and provocatively pulled me into his embrace, his head held high. "That's right, brother. Your girlfriend is in the specialized maternity clinic. He just gave birth to your baby, she must be exhausted. As for Grace, she's my fiancée now, and she'll be my wife later. What's it to you? People can't have their cake and eat it too, wouldn't you agree?" Liam's tone was full of sarcasm and triumph. Marcus was so enraged that a flush crept up his neck. He practically ground his teeth. Damn it. Well, they were fighting again. I didn't feel like stopping them anymore. I was tired. If they wanted to make such a scene, I'd just add fuel to the fire. The bigger the commotion, the more exciting it would be. I simply sat on the sofa, propped my head up, watching, and dialed Grandpa's number. Grandpa was furious. Soon, the Fu sent people over and took us to the Fu family estate. Grandpa struck his cane once, and both brothers immediately knelt rigidly, though neither showed any sign of submission. I sat to the side, sipping the tea the butler offered me. The corporation was a business Grandpa had built from scratch in his youth. Even though he was nearing 70, no one dared to challenge him. "Speak. What happened?" Everyone present, except for me, tensed up. Marcus's expression turned particularly grim. After all, he was the one who initiated the switch, and he probably never imagined things would escalate this far, ending in such an absurd scene before Grandpa. But this was exactly what I wanted. Marcus hung his head, silent. Liam, however, unhurriedly spilled everything. He was a smart man. He knew that in this situation, there was no point in hiding anything further. When revealed the switch, I accidentally knocked over my tea, covered my mouth in disbelief, blinked twice, and managed to squeeze out 2 tears. "You too, you actually. Gracie, you scoundrels." Grandpa's cane cut off Liam's explanation mid-sentence. "How could my Fu family produce such good-for-nothing sons? You've disgraced the family." I cried, my tears like falling pear blossoms, gasping for breath, feigning utter helplessness. Grandpa, eyeing me like this, became even more enraged, huffing and puffing, and struck each of them once with his cane, putting considerable force into it. No one dared to dodge. "You two, kneel here until I say otherwise. You won't get up until Grace tells you to." Grandpa called me into the home office alone. I held a tissue, wiping away tears from the corners of my eyes, and was still sniffling. The white-haired old man before me no longer had his previous stern demeanor, his expression filled with guilt. Gracie, what those two did was utterly outrageous. Our family has wronged you. I know the outcome can't be undone. Whether you want to call off the engagement or something else, I'll support you. If you call off the engagement, I will explain to the public that it was the Fu family's fault, and had nothing to do with Grace's family estate. If you want any compensation, you can also tell me. The family was able to become so prominent not only because of Grandpa's decisive tactics, but also his clear sense of right and wrong. Many people, because of this trait of his, eagerly sought partnerships with him. I paused appropriately and straightened my back. Grandpa, Marcus doing something like this isn't just a scandal for the Fu family. It's also a scandal for Grace's family estate. He and I can't possibly have a future together. I will not marry him. But the strategic family alliance between the Fu and the Song is already common knowledge. Calling off the engagement now would inevitably harm both families' interests. The strategic family alliance can continue or be postponed, but the candidate. I think you understand what I mean. As for compensation, it's a fact that Marcus deceived me. Therefore, I want 5% of the Fu's shares via a stock transfer agreement. Beyond playing along with them, acquiring the Fu family's shares was my ultimate goal. As for the strategic family alliance, I was after the heir to Fu. Since I couldn't stand Marcus, both the groom and the heir would certainly be replaced. Grandpa hesitated for a moment, then gave a slight nod. Tomorrow, the stock transfer agreement will be in your hands. As for Marcus, once you've calmed down, I'll make sure he personally apologizes to you. And the mistress and child out of wedlock he's kept outside, the Fu family will absolutely not acknowledge them. I can guarantee you that. Regarding the engagement, I'll defer to your wishes. No matter what, you, Grace, are the only granddaughter-in-law I acknowledge. Grandpa spoke to me candidly for a few moments, asking me to stay there and compose myself. When I cooled down, then the two scoundrels downstairs could get up. I obediently agreed. As soon as he left, I leaned back on the sofa and found a show to watch. 2 hours later, I stretched languidly, ran my fingers through my hair, and went downstairs. The two brothers were still kneeling. Liam knelt upright, while Marcus was hunched over. Looking at them, even though they were twins, Liam's posture was significantly better than Marcus's. The more I looked, the more I liked him. I forced my lips into a tight line, maintaining a stern face as I walked up to Marcus, kicking his knee with the tip of my heel. Get up. Marcus gave me a meaningful look, then shakily stood up, steadying himself with his hands on the floor. Before he could even straighten his back, I slapped him with full force. The slap echoed loudly, sending his face sharply to the side. Gracie. Smack, another slap. 2 symmetrical palm prints now adorned his face. They looked rather good, actually. He swallowed his rage at the humiliation, about to speak. I snapped, filth. Get lost. Don't speak to me. I took a small step, moving towards Liam. You, get up. Liam met my gaze, slowly rising to his feet. Just as I raised my hand, before I could strike, he caught it. He held it gently, without force. Don't use your hand. It'll hurt. He pulled out his belt. Use this. You can hit me however you want. I coo. Can't help but find it amusing, practically begging for a beating. I glanced over my shoulder. Marcus's face was a fascinating mix of red and green. I pursed my lips. Forget it. It's just as much effort. Although had deceived me at Marcus's request, I had certainly reaped the benefits. His merits balanced his faults. So, that slap was off the table. I withdrew my hand, ignored both of them, picked up my bag, and left the Fu family estate. I returned to Grace's family estate. Marcus kept trying to contact me, apologizing. I ignored him, simply telling him I was breaking up and calling off the engagement. Marcus rushed to my doorstep that very night. After making him stand for an hour, I had a maid let him in. After a few days apart, Marcus looked utterly wrecked. His chin was covered in dark stubble, and his eyes held an unspeakable exhaustion. The moment he saw me, he came over and squeezed my hands tightly, his voice choked. Gracie, please don't break up with me. Ashley was an accident. I never meant to cheat. I was just momentarily confused, which is why I let Liam deceive you. But I honestly only meant for him to humor you. I never actually wanted him to touch you. He's an animal. Gracie, I truly love you, and I genuinely want to marry you. I promise, this kind of thing will never happen again. I've already arranged to send Ashley abroad. Please forgive me this once, and we'll proceed with the wedding as planned, okay? Oh, the nerve of him. He's still begging for my forgiveness now. You expect a few flimsy words to make me forgive you? Marcus, do I look that easily appeased? His face stiffened. That's not what I meant. Enough. Don't say another word. I waved my hand, turning my back. Regarding our broken engagement, your grandpa has agreed. From now on, we have no connection. When you see me, please address me as Ms. Grace. Marcus ignored me, stubbornly stating, I don't agree. I won't break up with you. This breakup is a notification, N.O.T. a negotiation. But I still love you. But I find you repulsive. Perhaps my casual indifference provoked him, as Marcus's emotions suddenly surged. Grace, why do you have to cling to this? I only made one mistake. Do you have to pursue it like this? You know as well as I do, who in our circle is truly clean. Yes, I cheated, and I let Liam deceive you. I admit it, that was my fault. But what about you? Weren't you also touched by Liam? How clean are you? Can't you just close your eyes and let this whole thing go? You stop bringing up Ashley, and I won't mind Liam having touched you. We can still get married as planned, isn't that possible? Why do you have to make such a public scene? Why? Because I've set my sights on someone else. I pulled a manila envelope from under the coffee table and tossed it onto Marcus. Open it and take a look. Marcus, suppressing his emotions, opened it and froze. He flipped through the photos, one by one, in disbelief. Why do you have these? Did you know all along? Yes, I said, leaning back on the armrest, propping my head with my hand. I knew all along. Inside the manila envelope were photos of Marcus and Ashley from various periods. There were pictures of them holding hands, kissing, Ashley pregnant, and after she'd given birth. You knew, and you did this on purpose? You knew all along that the person beside you was Liam? Marcus threw all the photos to the floor. Grace, are you king playing me? I let out a soft laugh. Does it matter? The most important thing is, if you keep hounding me, these photos will hit the headlines of major news outlets tomorrow. Guess what the consequences will be? Marcus wasn't stupid. Under public pressure, Fu's stock would inevitably fall. All the losses would be attributed to him. But he still insisted, so what? Fu can absorb that small loss. I nodded. True, Fu is a massive enterprise, this wouldn't be a huge storm. But what about Grandpa? Marcus, Let me kindly remind you, you're not the sole heir to Fu. Who ultimately decides on your Mr. Fu position? Which is more important, me, or the Fu family's assets? Marcus clenched his fists. I knew men like him too well. Even his own mother couldn't compare to the position of Fu's heir. He would compromise eventually. Sure enough, not long after, he spoke through gritted teeth. Grace, you're ruthless. Break off our engagement, and you'll regret it. I couldn't be bothered to look at him again, and ruthlessly had him driven away. For the remaining time I waited. Waiting for someone else. 2 days later, Liam appeared before me. He still had that perfectly chiseled face, handsome beyond reproach. Gracie, why are you calling me so intimately? Do we have a relationship? I'm not your girlfriend. A smile played on my lips. He took a step forward. You're breaking off your engagement with my brother. So, I still have a chance. He rolled up his shirt sleeves, revealing his forearms, his gaze fixed on my face. Before, I had a tattoo here, a gardenia. I've liked you for a very long time, much longer than Marcus, though you didn't know it. When I learned you agreed to the Fu family's strategic family alliance, I was ecstatic, but I never expected you to choose Marcus. I was unwilling to accept it. I even considered crashing the wedding. When asked me to take his place, I knew it was incredibly unfair to you, but I was shamelessly thrilled. To avoid you finding out, I had the tattoo removed the very next day. I desperately wanted to become him, permanently. I'm actually quite grateful to Marcus. If he hadn't cheated, I'd have no reason to get close to you, and you wouldn't be breaking off your engagement with him. Fate still favors me, giving me this chance to pursue you again. As long as I can be with you, I'll stop at nothing. Liam's eyes were exceptionally deep. Gracie, I can be your dog, or your knife. I know what you truly want. I raised an eyebrow. When spoke, his eyes held a strange wildness, a raw sex appeal. TSK, I truly loved that type. If only I'd chosen the younger brother from the start. I poked his calf with the tip of my foot and beckoned him with my hand. He immediately leaned down. I wrapped my arms around his neck. Liam, I'm giving you a chance. Fu, you'll fight Marcus for it. What I want is the heir to Fu. If you win it, I'm yours. Before, Liam hadn't competed because he lacked interest. But in terms of ability, he wasn't actually inferior to Marcus. Did think he could rest easy just because he broke off our engagement? Then he seriously underestimated me. He played me, so naturally, I could play him too. Liam gazed intently at me for a long moment. then slowly caressed my cheek with the back of his hand before pulling a gift box from his pocket. Gracie, I'll make you the most powerful woman in Viridian City. Happy birthday, my darling. The power struggle for the CEO position had begun. Marcus had never truly regarded Liam before. Someone who studied technology, what qualifications did he have to manage a conglomerate? What he didn't know was that during the 2 months Liam had impersonated him, he had already thoroughly familiarized himself with all of the conglomerate's operations, and had even uncovered some of Marcus's shady dealings. However, I wasn't very interested in the details of their power struggle. I only cared about the outcome. I also believed Liam would give me a satisfactory answer. Before long, Marcus's defeat became evident. Ashley panicked. I heard she barged into the Fu family estate with her child, kneeling before Grandpa, begging him to look at his grandson. She was trying to leverage the Fu family bloodline to gain more advantages for herself. See, Marcus has given you a grandson, and the Fu family has an heir. Shouldn't Fu belong to Marcus? But William said nothing, simply having her thrown out. The family valued reputation above all else. A mistress, after all, was never considered respectable, let alone showing up directly with a child out of wedlock. That night, after Marcus found out, he had a massive fight with Ashley. Every word was full of blame and degradation. He blamed her for not following instructions and leaving, for going to the Fu estate, for seducing him in the first place. He called her stupid and brainless, not even half as good as me. Ashley retaliated with insults. She cursed him for being a failure, unable to even compete with his younger brother for the company, saying she must have been blind to ever get involved with him. Marcus, his face dark, told her to take the child and leave. Not surprising. I'd seen plenty of these lover-turned-enemy dramas. They all shared a common flaw. They were far too confident in themselves. Where did they get the nerve? I also knew Ashley would definitely come looking for me. Sure enough, 2 days later, she said she wanted to meet me. I allowed her into Grace's family estate. She entered, carrying her child, completely devoid of the delicate beauty she'd shown at the banquet, and spoke very directly. Give me 20 million, and I'll take the child and leave. I won't see Marcus again. I'm giving him back to you. I laughed aloud. Why do you think I, Grace, would still want Marcus? Do you think my breaking off the engagement was just child's play? She choked. I took a sip of red tea, speaking without mercy. Marcus was right, you really are quite foolish. Do you think that just because Marcus doted on you so excessively before, he'd be unable to live without you from now on? Then you're far too naive. I can tell you, in our circles, men are never short of women. He might love you to death today, eager to pluck the stars for you, but tomorrow, he could set his sights on some other celebrity or supermodel, toss you a bit of money, and tell you to get lost, never to bother him again. What attracted him was your youth, beauty, gentleness, and attentiveness. Beyond that, you have nothing. Oh, you mentioned the child? But if Grandpa doesn't acknowledge this child, how much use will he be? He'll only become a stain on Marcus's reputation in Grandpa's eyes. In this situation, your smartest move would be to leverage your biggest advantage, flatter him, indulge him, and extract money from him. Even a dying camel is bigger than a horse. No matter how bad off he gets, what he can give you will be far more than you could get anywhere else. But you, against all logic, thought that once he and I broke up, you'd become the legitimate partner, and you even fought with him. Honey, you're just as kept bird. What right do you have to think you can challenge him? Ashley's face went ashen at my words, and she wrung her fingers together. Of all the mistresses I've encountered, you're the least clever. You take yourself far too seriously. For instance, today you came to me, but you came to negotiate terms. You've got one thing wrong, your terms hold absolutely no appeal for me. Why would I make this deal with you? You should have come in, admitted your mistake, cried and begged for my forgiveness, acting as pathetic as possible, preferably to arouse my sympathy. We're both women, after all. Maybe I would have had a burst of generosity and given you some money. I lowered my eyes, blowing gently on the hot tea. Ashley gritted her back teeth, still defiant. I won't sacrifice my dignity like that. Oh, she wanted dignity. I almost burst out laughing. Forget it, she just wouldn't get it. The child in her arms was probably hungry, as it began to cry in its sleep. I had no interest in continuing the conversation with her, so I stood up to dismiss her. Go. There's nothing more to discuss. I don't talk to fools. While I was currently idle, I didn't want to waste time on pointless chatter. I called for a maid to see her out, and ignoring her pleas to stay, I turned and went back inside. A few days later, seeing that Marcus was absolutely determined to abandon her, Ashley left the child at the entrance of the Fu family estate and ran off alone. Soon after, Marcus also fell. Because had gathered all the evidence and exposed Marcus's dirty dealings to Grandpa. Grandpa was furious, immediately convened a board meeting, stripped Marcus of his duties, and installed Liam in his place. I was not surprised by this outcome at all. After all, I had always had complete confidence in Liam, in every aspect. I heard that day, Marcus smashed everything in his room, then locked himself in, drank, and called me all night. It was also that night that Liam came to find me. The moment we met, he pinned me against the wall and kissed me. Gracie, Gracie. He was incredibly impatient. I let him kiss me for a minute, then reached out and pushed him away. What's the rush? He pulled me into his embrace. Gracie, see? I did it. Are you satisfied with me, your knife? Anything you want, Fu is yours. I curved my lips, kicking his knee. You'd just give it to me like that? Are you content with that? Liam laughed, a wicked, almost maniacal laugh. Gracie, you're more important than anything else in the world. Whatever you want, I can give it to you. Even my life, or Marcus's life. I paused, then scoffed, mad dog. Yes, I'm a mad dog. He clasped my fingers, gently nipping at them with his teeth. I'm only your dog. Forget it, it wasn't the first day I knew he was crazy. Since he was a mad dog, I might as well keep him leashed and well-fed by my side. Liam swept me up, carried me into the bedroom, tossed me onto the bed, and tore off his tie with one hand. Gracie, when will you be willing to give me a proper title? I chuckled, kicking him away with my foot. That depends on my mood. Whether your name is the groom's at the wedding depends on how hard you work from now on. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.